Welcome to the Tournament Center. I'm Rashad Miller. That's Ian Duke. And these lovely hands, that's Nam Sung Wook, NSW on MTGO. So let's watch them draft some Dragons of Tarkir here at Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir. As we open the pack, we see some nice shiny cards. I saw Pacifism slide by. Let's see where the rare is.
Yeah, Pacifism would definitely be a nice way to start the draft.
I think I saw Icefall something. Icefall, there it is, Icefall Regent.
Icefall Regent, yeah, that for sure has got to be the pick, right? There can't be any commons or uncommons that are stronger than that.
Yeah, but, I mean, Pacifism is pretty strong.
It is, for sure, but personally, I'd love to start off the draft with a great dragon like that.
Hey, this is Pro Tour Dragons, Dragons of Tarkir.
So what else is in the pack here?
Well, we got
it looks like Epic Confrontation.
And a Tarka Ifrit, which is a very underestimated card still.
Yeah, so probably Pacifism and Epic Confrontation being the next best two cards in the pack. So he'll keep that in mind as the draft continues. But definitely can't complain first picking a dragon in Dragons of Tarkir, right?
First pick a rare, any rare that's strong enough to first pick, you're never going to be sad about that. Get a look at Tom Martell and Craig Wesco. Got a couple of good interviews coming up that's also going to be available. All right, so pack 2, we got a Terminal Rock to the front, but Territorial
Illusory
Rock.
Gains. This is kind of a kooky rare here. It's like a mind control that slides from creature to creature as it comes into play.
Deadly Wanderings and the Sandcrafter Mage.
Yeah, Sandcrafter Mage, really solid. I'd be happy to pick that up.
What do you think of Deadly Wanderings? It's kind of a build around.
Yeah, it's definitely a build around here. I'm not sure I would want to jump into it this early into the draft, but it can be a really solid card if you tailor your deck around it.
So it looks like it's narrowed down to
the Crafter. You went with the Sandcrafter Mage. Yeah, I like that pick. It's just a really solid card. A 3-drop that comes down as a 3/3 is great in a world full of morphs. And personally, I like the blue-white archetype. I've heard some differing opinions from the pros.
And Nam probably saw the Adrian Sullivan feature match and didn't want to get confused with his Illusionary Gains.
Sure, yeah, it's definitely a tricky card.
All right, so we got Student of Ojutai pulled to the front and a Glade Watcher.
Student of Ojutai is a card I like quite a bit in blue-white. Blue-white decks tend to be a little bit more controlling. Obviously, you have lots of rebound cards, and this is a card that can just gain you tons of life over the course of a game, in addition to blocking well.
Nice shiny Glare of Ages.
Yeah, I mean, Evolving Wilds could keep your options open, but I don't think it's that necessary in a 2-color format like this.
I've been really impressed with the Student.
Yeah,
the 2/4 body's great. I mean, I'm a fan of big butts, and I like gaining a little life too.
And if you don't pick them early, you might not get the chance to see them again. So I definitely like that pick up here for Nam Sung Wook.
Right. So next pack we have a Lightwalker, and not a lot else I could see. Well, there is
Looks like a Lore Master there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lightwalker is a really interesting card. It can be super hit or miss depending on how much +1/+1 counter synergies you have in your deck. Blue-white, not as known for the +1/+1 counters as green-white is, but he does have the Sandcrafter Mage already, so he might pick up the Lightwalker and try to move in on the +1/+1 counters a little bit heavier.
Yeah, but Lightwalker, the +1/+1 counter synergy isn't really there with blue. Do you think he's going to look for switching over to green?
Probably not. I mean, he's got that dragon, which is far stronger than any of the cards, you know, that he could pick up in the next few picks, I think. But
so we see another Student Ojutai, and we also have a Ojutai's Breath.
Yeah, both super solid cards in blue-white. I like the Breath quite a bit. It's a good tempo play. So here he's got a little bit of a choice. Does he want to be more controlling, maybe pick up a second Student, try to gain a lot of life and bog down the ground? Does he want to pick up the Breath, be a little bit more of a tempo deck and try to be aggressive? And keep in mind, he's also got the Lightwalker there too, so he's got an avenue into +1/+1 counter synergies. So this is a part of the draft where kind of the forks diverge a little bit, and he's got to make some choices.
Let's see. In this pack, we have another good white card, Artful Maneuver, and it also has a Jamoka Warrior pulled to the front. Yeah. Another fork in the road for him.
Yeah, solid pickups. I mean, Artful Maneuver, of course, it's going to be at its best in a deck that's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more tempo-oriented.
But of those two cards, that's the less aggressive.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And it's a card that I'm generally happy to have in any deck. I mean,
a trick's a trick. A Giant Growth is a Giant Growth.
Yeah, it lets you dominate combat, and the rebound adds a little bit of value there, especially with the Student that he's got so far.
Now, there's another Glade Walker, and he kind of shook his head when he saw that. Maybe he's a big fan of that card.
Doesn't have too much for him.
Contradict is literally the only blue card in this pack.
Yeah, he does pick it up there. I mean, Contradict is a card you might play one of in your deck if you're a little bit more controlling and you just want to have something to protect you from a bomb rare in the late game or something along those lines. So I like to have one. Often it lives in my sideboard, but you know, sometimes you end up starting it and you're not too unhappy to start it.
See if this pack shows more promise for Nam Sung Wook.
Another Contradict. He probably doesn't want 2 of those just yet in the draft.
And still not a lot. He's looking at a Dragon Lord idol. and then he took a Dragon Lord idol.
Yeah.
And there was another student of Ultratai in that pack. Don't those
interesting.
Don't the two cards have similar roles?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what to make of that one, but we'll see as we go forward here in the draft what exactly his plan is.
All right, not sure. We couldn't get the camera on there, but I do know that was a Void Squall that he picked up.
Void Squall, okay,
yes.
Great, yeah. That's a card I like quite a bit. I mean, another tempo play. It may seem a little bit slow, but with Rebound there, the turn after you cast it, you get to really catch up on the board.
All right, so the next pick here, not a lot going on again. Of course, we are at the ends of this pack.
Yeah,
so
Territorial Rock can be just a decent curve filler and a nice defensive card if he decides to go that route. I saw Mystic Meditation there, which is another option for him. But
yeah, there are a lot of creatures with 1 toughness going running around I think the battlefield nowadays.
When in doubt, pick the creature there. Just fill out your curve a little bit.
He actually grabbed a Seismic Rupture there. I don't know if he's thinking about saving himself, having to, not get all of his creatures wiped out.
Yeah, grab the Naturalize, I think.
Yeah, we're basically just cleaning up this pack.
Yep.
There's not going to be a lot of cards. This isn't really the format where your 13th and 14th picks make the cut.
Yeah, often not. I mean, at best, I think you're looking for sideboard cards or maybe picking up a card that your opponent might sideboard against you.
All right, so let's take a look at what Nam Sung Wook's got going on here. Solid blue-white.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like he's going to go into any other colors.
Yeah, he's in decent shape here. I mean, the Icefall region's great to pick up. He's got a lot of other solid cards, the Student, the Sandcrafter Mage, Void Squall, Territorial Rock if he needs an extra 2-drop. So I'd say he's in decent shape, but he's looking to really pick up some good stuff in pack 2, I think.
Yeah, I just did a little quick creature count. It looks like he has 4.
Yeah, blue-white does tend to be a combination that's a little bit more creature light, but he's still going to be looking to pick up some creatures to fill out his curve here.
And that was kind of optimistic for, because one of them was Territorial Rock, which he probably would rather, he wants to upgrade that creature if
I think he does. Although he's not terribly unhappy if he ends up playing it, especially given that he's a more defensive deck. So let's see what he can pick up in pack 2. What would you be looking to open up here?
What would I be looking at? Another Icefall region.
Okay,
is that too greedy?
One. Of course,
is that too greedy?
Dragon Lord Ojutai or some Scorch Regent or something along those lines.
I set the bar way too low for myself.
But maybe even just like a pacifism or something along those lines would be great.
Well, there's a pacifism.
And there you go.
And there is a Dragon Lord.
Wow, okay, Dragon Lord Silumgar. Now this has got to give you pause to think here. I think this card is powerful enough that it's worth splashing or possibly even changing colors. Just huge. I mean, if this is a card, if it goes unanswered, it catches you up on the board, regardless of where you are. It's capable of winning the game by itself, and it's only a single mana out of your way if you decide to splash it.
So is this just you just windmill this? It's
really tough because the passive is on color, but I think I would go for the Dragon Lord Silumgar here.
It looks like he's tormenting.
Yeah.
He's tormented about this choice.
Yeah.
And he does go with the Dragon Lord. I can't blame him. I don't think you can blame him, and I think everybody at home wants him to
It's a pick like, even if you're only 60 or 70% chance to play it, it's enough better than pacifism that if you kind of multiply that out and weight things there, I think you're happy to pick the Dragon Lord.
It's like pacifism
Silumgar,
plus.
Right? Yeah, I'm understating things a little bit, to play up the drama here, Rashad, but I think you're really happy to pick up the Dragon Lord there. All right, so let's take a look here.
Yeah, so we have a Zephyr Scribe and a Orator of Ojutai.
Yeah, he does have 2 dragons to go with the Order of Ojutai.
Yeah, so this is a pretty weak pack, but there's also a vial of Dragonfire. Maybe you just pick up the vial this early, or what do you think?
I'm kind of interested. Well, yeah.
He goes with the Zephyr Scribe.
The Zephyr Scribe. Oh, okay. I didn't see the Zephyr Scribe.
Yeah, there's a Zephyr Scribe.
That's a very solid common. Definitely, I would say, like on the tier 2 of commons in the format. And I'm always happy to play almost any number of Zephyr Scribes.
Yeah.
That's great for him.
I'm a big fan of the looting ability where you draw a card and discard a card.
Yeah, and often you get to get into combat with it or loot twice.
Blue for it.
I'm sorry, Rashad. That's the way.
Evidently, I'm just a greedy one here. All right, so what do we got going on in this pack? We see a Herald of Jamoka, and not a lot else that's in blue or white. There's a Palisade Familiar hiding in the back there.
Palace Familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough choice there. Either are reasonable options just to fill out the 2-drop. I might like the Herald a little bit more in his position. Yeah, and he does go for it.
Goes for the Herald.
It just trades with more cards. He doesn't have Exploit yet.
Right.
So the Palace Familiar loses a little bit of value there.
Not only does he not have Exploit yet, we haven't seen an Exploit card.
That's true.
At all in any of his packs. So now we're looking at a Pacifism, which is pretty late.
Great pickup for him this late. I think he's got to be super happy there.
He's also eyeballing this Flatten. If he decides to splash black, Is the flatten better than the pacifism?
I don't think if he's splashing black, if he decides to go a little bit heavier into black and be base blue black and maybe splash white, then the flatten would be better. But given that he might not have access to black mana when he needs it, the pacifism is going to be clearly better there.
Pacifism is a pick, definitely the safer pick.
Yeah.
And now we have another Zephyr Scribe. That's pretty much it for him.
Yeah, Mirror Mockery is an interesting card,
Actually, it is.
If you're defensive enough, you can put a Mirror Mockery on your opponent's creature and it just can't attack you because you'll produce a blocker equal to it.
It's also a nice little trick with exploit creatures, but he doesn't have any of those yet.
Yeah, so I think he's going to go with the Zephyr Scribe here. Carsey Deceiver is another solid card too, but again, he's not really in that exploit sort of a deck here. He passed up on the Palace Familiar, so I think the Scribe is great for him.
So far, the only black card he took was that Dragon Lord, but it's quite a black card to take. We have another Herald of Dromoka. See what else. He pulled a couple of blue cards to the front. Looks like an elusive Spellfire.
Elusive Spellfist?
Yeah, elusive Spellfist.
Yeah, that's a card that can be great in these blue-white decks if you decide to be a little bit more tempo-oriented. And he's shaping up to have quite a few spell synergies between the two Zephyr Scribes and the Student of Ojutai that he has.
And he also has an Artful Maneuver, which has Rebound.
Yep, and Void Squall.
Now we have a great Teacher's Decree resupply. Probably not really considering that. There's a Juggernaut Nemesis. I think those are the choices. What are we going with?
Great Teacher's Decree is decent here. He's not really like a go-wide aggro deck, so it's hard for him to take full advantage of it. But it does have Rebound, and it can let you make some big attacks. It pairs well with the elusive Spellfist.
Yep, and that's exactly what his pick was.
Yep.
Definitely the best white card in that pack.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to end up playing it or not, but it's a decent consideration.
So we got a Monument. A little better than the past Artifact Matters that.
Yeah, I actually didn't see. Was that a blue-white Monument?
It was an Ojutai Monument.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, great pickup for him there. Accelerates his mana, gives him something to do with his mana in the late game.
He probably really wanted to see a blue-black Monument.
Yeah, that would be great to splash. But I'm basically always happy to play one Monument in my decks if I can get it late, and he did get it late here.
All right, so there's another Monument. You probably don't want a second one. That's a pretty late Center Soul.
Yeah, Center Soul's decent here. He does have a couple dragons to protect with it, so
has Rebound.
It's an option. Outside of his dragons, he doesn't really have creatures that he really needs to protect. I mean, maybe the Student of Ojutai, something like that. But
protect your student, gain a couple of life.
Yep.
All right, so you have the Orator came back, Glaring Aegis, but it looks like he took the Dragonized Sentry.
Okay. I guess a sideboard card just against some aggressive decks potentially.
Another curve filler if he really gets necessary. We have a
Dromoka Dunecaster. Yep. Yeah, that's a card that I think is maybe less impressive than players initially think when they see it, but it's still a solid card, maybe a sideboard card if you want to hold off a red-green deck or something.
That Card's Deceiver is still there, so it's Mystic Meditation. He takes Mystic Meditation.
Yeah, Mystic Meditation I think is a better fit for his deck. The Deceiver is a more powerful card overall, but with the spell synergies and whatnot.
Now we're just cleaning up the pack. Another couple of picks, didn't quite see that. Another fast pickup. Blue card that.
Yeah, so that was a solid pack 2 for him. I'd give it like a B+ pack 2. He's in decent shape. He's got a couple dragons here. Hopefully he can splash the Dragon Lord Silumgar. He's going to be looking for like a Dismal Backwater or some other multicolor lands.
I got a question for you, because you said hopefully he's splashing that Dragon Lord Silumgar.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't just splash it off of two or three swamps?
I think I would. It depends how his deck shapes out. I mean, if he gets really, really deep blue and white and his deck turns out super solid, great for him.
How good does his deck need to get to not splash this Dragon Lord?
Significantly better than it is now. I'll put it that way, right? So he's got like a solid, outside of his dragons here, he's got like a B-level deck right now, I would say. So he really needs those dragons to put it over the top. I think he's gonna want to leverage those bombs. That said, if he can pick up some mana fixing to smooth things out, he's gonna be a lot happier splashing the dragon.
Mana fixing seems to be a lot easier to grab these days, even though there's only one in each pack of.
Yeah, because most players at the table are going to be 2 colors or strongly based in 2 colors, so the mana fixing will float around a lot more than it did before.
All right, let's see if we can open up a bomb dragon that's exactly in his colors. He's got 2 dragons to pick from.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about Fate Reforged having a lot of bomb rares in it, so I think going into pack 3, the dream is, can I open a bomb rare in the colors that I'm already in? And let's see if he can do that.
Oh, look at that Dismal Backwater shooting
Sage Eye Avengers. I think that qualifies as a bomb. What do you say?
That is definitely a bomb. Being able to bounce all creatures with toughness, lessen his power.
Yeah, and it does have the prowess ability, which is a perfect fit for his blue-white spell-heavy deck that he's got so far. So I think that's going to be the pick for him. I think he's got to be pretty excited to pick that up here.
He's got to be pretty excited to actually open that dismal backwater.
And there was a dismal backwater, yeah.
So there's a good chance that it's going to come back around to him.
Yep, great to note.
I mean, if he had opened a Silumgar, you know, that would have been even better. Double Silumgar.
Yeah.
The twins.
There's also a harsh sustenance there. I mean, if he does pick up mana fixing and he is Esper colored, there's a chance that he might play a harsh sustenance. Probably not,
right.
I should say, but it's in there to
definitely
to
not. He's not the deck that would take total advantage.
Right, because he doesn't have tons of creatures.
Right.
Black is a splash for him. It's not perfect, but it's good to note.
Let's see what we got past, Mr. Nam Sung Wook. Didn't look very promising. Actually, I don't see.
There's really not much for him. Oh, Abzan Sky Captain.
There we go, Abzan Sky Captain. Lotus Eye Mystics there. You know, those are the best two cards in his colors.
Yeah, the Mystics, I mean, he would need some enchantments, I think, to really leverage the power of that. I think Abzan Sky Captain, just a solid card. A 2/2 flyer, you get some value out of it when it dies. He's looking for creatures at this point, so I think he's happy to pick it up.
That's a very solid creature to pick up. There's nothing wrong with going to the air. And 2/2 flyers, they are very serviceable at 4 mana. That's quite the murderous row we have here. We have Nam Sung Wook, then Craig Wesco, then Tom Martell, then Jäger Vigersma.
I saw Whisk Away there.
Whisk Away, there is was that a Dismal Backwater?
Oh, yeah, Dismal. Okay, this is actually a pretty tough choice. Whisk Away is pretty solid, but Dismal Backwater just really smooths out his mana, makes it much more likely you can cast Dragonlord Silumgar. I would go for the Dismal Backwater here.
It just shoots the power level of your deck up, even though it's just a land.
Well, the consistency really, and then you know that cascades into power level. But Whisk Away, well, solid. I mean, he has plenty of spells and plenty of filler in his deck already. So if he has to play his next best card instead of Whisk Away, he's not too unhappy. Whereas the mana is really a game changer here, and he does go with the Dismal Backwater.
Yep. So that's one he may, and he also has one that could come back around to him if no one else is looking to splash blue or black or another color that's not those two.
Blossoming Sands was the land there. That's not for him.
Not really for him at all.
Speaking of not for him,
this pack is not for him.
not too much in here.
Arshan Cleric?
Yeah, that's a card that's actually gone up in value a little bit with dragons. There are a lot more 1 toughness creatures that this can trade with, and the life gain.
Deck's got a little bit more aggressive too.
Decks are more aggressive, right? So the life gain is more relevant there. He's not happy to pick it up here. Oh yeah, Abzan Advantage. I think he went with the Cleric there,
He did go with the Cleric. Abzan Advantage, he passed. Abzan Advantage got a little bit better. Yeah. Being able to put counters on creatures more consistently, especially
also,
if you're green-white.
So many of the white removal spells are enchantments in this format, so that's a good note.
Ooh, Frostwalker, that could be pretty aggressive.
Yeah, Frostwalker is at its best in an aggressive deck, but it also does trade with most other 2 or 3 drops.
It trades up the scale.
And he does need just early creatures to play.
There's also a Will of a Naga there. Will of the Naga. But he goes with the Frostwalker.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Frostwalker.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's better in an aggressive deck, but I will play it in just about any blue deck because it just trades with whatever other 2-drop or even 3-drop your opponent might lead off
Sometimes it also trades with pump spells, though.
Yeah, but even then it's a 1-for-1 trade, and it probably cost your opponent 2 mana, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So another Will of the Naga is in this pack, and a lot of blanks again. I wonder if the packs are just really weak, because I'm looking at the other cards in the other colors, and they're looking pretty weak as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What you need to do first.
I mean, there's an Arcbound. That's
the most powerful cards we've seen are actually the blue multicolor commons so far, which is not a surprise because so many players start off in allied colors with dragons that they end up floating around a lot in Fate Reforged. Yeah, lots of Cunning Strikes and so forth.
I think I saw a Sandblast in this pack.
Yeah, Sandblast. That's a great pickup and makes him feel
absolutely the best card in this pack, and it's definitely in his colors.
Yeah, it makes him feel less bad about passing the Whisk Away earlier because they play a very similar role here. And Sandblast, actually just a really powerful card to still be in the pack at this point.
That's interesting. I wonder what that means. I wonder if there's only 1 or 2 other white drafts. I think Shahar
it indicates that probably the packs have just been a little bit weak, not that he's getting cut on his colors.
All right, so there's a Honors Reward. Rakshasas.
Yeah, it's a shame he's been missing on so many of these dual lands here. We've been seeing like Saltwater Cliffs and Thornwood Falls passing by. If those had been some combination of the Esper colors, he'd really be enjoying that.
I wonder if anyone is have an opportunity to enjoy any of those multicolor lands, or if they're just going to go 14th, 15th pick. They used to be so good. I first picked those in the last draft.
There's the Dismal Backwater. Is this the one that came back around?
Yeah, this is the one. This is from the pack that he opened, so he's going to be able to have a very...
That is awesome for him.
But he's also looking at this Rite of Undoing. You think he needs to add that to his card pool?
No, he's got to go with the Dismal Backwater. I mean, Rite of Undoing is solid. He would certainly play it if there were nothing else for him in the pack, but Dismal Backwater is just the perfect card for him at this point.
Yeah, his deck, I'm feeling a lot better about his deck.
I agree.
A lot of nothing in here. There's a Neutralizing Blast that he takes for a sideboard.
I think given the way the packs were the first time around, he's probably not going to pick up too much more from here, which is a shame because it's hard to keep mental count, but I think he's going to be a little bit low on playables. He's probably going to have to play like the Territorial Rock and some of the other filler cards that he picked up. Maybe
there was a pressure port there for him, which would have, you know, filled a role as being a playable and being able to cycle, but he grabbed something else. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was a little bit off camera.
Yeah, Pressure Point is a card that's a solid filler if you need it. It plays with his spell synergies, but he's not really aggressive.
Just grabs a Cunning Strike. All right, so let's give Nam a grade. Let's grade his seat. How well did he draft this seat?
I think pretty well. Like we said, the packs were a little bit weak in Fate Reforged, but I think that was more a factor of just the packs themselves rather than the colors. I think he was definitely in the right colors for where he was. He stuck to his guns. He stuck to the rare that he opened first. So I think he played his seat well. His deck is quite solid. And he's got a couple dragons. I want to give it, so without the dragons, it's like a B. I'd be sort of not too happy with it. But with the Icefall Regent and the Dragonlord Silumgar, I think that gets it up to probably like B plus A minus range. So I would be pretty happy to have this draft at the Pro Tour.
All right, for Ian Duke, I'm Rashad Miller from the Tournament Center.